discussion? No discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have unanimous. City council minutes for June 1st. Any concerns regarding those minutes? If not, we'll acknowledge those as they've been prepared, and we'll go on to the work session minutes for June 8th. Same thing there. Concerns, comments? If not, we'll acknowledge those as well and go on to bills. Launch register on your screen. Questions? Comments, as I remember, that was a stack of vouchers.
It's a big one.
End of the year, I suspect, always bring that down. Is there a motion to approve the bills?
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
I'll second.
Mr. Purple, the motion, Mr. Sellers. Second. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? That takes care of it. Council comments. Pledge, what do you have for us?
Well, tonight I just want to say thank you to Chief Kirby for the years of service. You've been great to work with. You've been great to the city of Evanston. Thank you, Kirby.
Thank you. It's been a great place to be.
Well said, Mr. Robin.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brooks.
I'll just echo what Mr. Lynch said. Thank you very much, Chief. We'll see you around the hall.
Yeah. We felt you self-vicious sometimes.
Good retirement.
Not going anywhere. Well,
Just thanks to John for all his years of service. It's been great working with you.
Thank you.
He's brought a lot to the table, and citizens are being blessed with you and your leadership. So, thank you.
Sellers.
You look way too relaxed.
Come on, pretty good, too.
Congratulations.
So I just wanted to bring up a quick couple things. If anybody hasn't been by the Schofield building, on Front Street and seen what's going on with it, the Batemans are doing just a knockout job on that. Accented across the street from the little place over by City Drug. It's just big additions to our downtown. I thank everybody who's involved in that. Also the renewal wall and the renewal wall committee, they did a really nice job, and that was a lot of fun. One last thing, this budget session, going through all the stuff, Trudy did a really good job. It was easy to follow. Maybe it's because I get a few more years experience, but I like the computer and stuff. I think you got it.
Right.
Just want to echo what other council members have said. Thanks, John, for your years of service and your leadership and for leading us where we needed to go. Appreciate it.
I'll simply say thank you. I don't know how. A lot of people, I don't think you have the ability to understand the commitment that you've made to the city. And get all emotional there. Thank you. You've done a good job.
Thank you.
And appreciation to the Urban Renewal Agency and another successful renewal wall. That was good. So we will move on. We've got a public hearing for regarding the budget. I suspect you're going to be our hearing officer, Mr. Cole.
I will, Your Honor. The purpose of this hearing is to receive public input regarding the proposed budget for the city of Evanston for the fiscal year ending June 30th of 2022. Notice of this hearing has been published in the newspaper as required by state statute. All those who wish to provide testimony at this hearing need to approach the podium, state your name and state your mailing address. The council will first hear from the city treasurer, who will give a broad overview of the budget. Then we'll receive testimony from anyone else who who wishes to provide input. So, Ms. Lynn, you need to state your name and for the record.
Trudy Lim, City Treasurer, address 1200 Main Street. Mayor Williams, City Council, and citizens of Evanston, tonight we will be approving the proposed budget for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022. The mission of executing the budget is to ensure that all the rules and regulations set forth are appropriate and pertinent to the quality of life of the residents of Evanston. A strong sense of accountability and dedication by all city employees to the people of Evanston, to improve overall communication within the city, to recognize and cultivate the importance of small businesses within Evanston, as well as encourage industries to explore our community, and to stimulate proper management techniques so that the infrastructure of our city is functioning at the highest level of productivity. The budget approach of the city of Evanston is one that encourages city employees to provide services efficiently and in the most cost-effective manner as possible. Like administrations before us, we continue to take a conservative approach to our budget. The budget has been carefully reviewed with decreases made in as many areas as we feel are appropriate. Keep in mind the amounts in the budget are a forecast of potential revenues and estimated expenses, and are used as a guide. As we look back upon the last fiscal year, the city's general financial condition is stable. The city's main source of revenue comes from sales tax, which you all know, generated in our community. This amount can fluctuate greatly from month to month. Last fiscal year, we anticipated the sales tax revenues to be down, just like we did the year before, because of the global pandemic. However, as of today, our sales tax revenue was up 21.5% compared to this same time last year. We are cautiously anticipating these revenues to slightly increase over the year. Gasoline, tobacco, and property tax all remain approximately the same as they have done in the past years, and we've budgeted with that in mind. Lottery and pari-mutuel have been newer amounts to our budget, but remain similar to the last few years. We did receive an additional amount from skill-based games this year. It was not a large amount, it was like $7,500, but we did recognize that. We did receive our full distribution from the state of Wyoming this last year, but as you will see in our 2022 budget, we have only budgeted a partial amount for that. This is just to ensure that if we were not to receive that full amount from the state, because their budget cycles are different, I just didn't want us to fall short. We will be applying for the American Rescue Funds that are intended exclusively for cities and towns. However, we do not know yet the amount or for what those funds can be used for, so they are not included in the budget. The general fund of our current year budget is still at a net increase at this point in time. If you remember, we normally budget into reserves, and you'll see that again this year, but only spend according to the revenues we receive. All department heads and staff are very frugal with spending, and this net increase is proof of their conscious efforts. We continue to evaluate the need of open positions as employees retire or resign. This has saved significant amounts in the past, and we will continue to use our best judgment in filling positions in the future. We have budgeted for a 2% cost of living increase for our employees this year to help offset a 4% increase in medical insurance cost and an additional 0.25% increase on the employee's behalf to Wyoming retirement. We also want to maintain the integrity of our classification plan. The city itself will also see a 0.25% increase to Wyoming retirement contributions, which brings the city's percentage paid into retirement for the employees 13.44%. Each year, fees and rates are carefully reviewed. General fees only have a few minor changes this year, one of those being the increase of the retail liquor license to $1,500 a year, which will match the amount of the bar and grill license. Rates for the water fund will not increase. There is a small 15-cent increase to the wastewater consumption fee and a $1 increase to the monthly landfill fee as a result of our increases that we have received from the Uintah County landfill. Overall, this increase will affect the average customer by approximately $1.60 per month. The City of Evanston continues to pursue grants to cover as many capital projects as possible. These grants and the projects enhance and improve things for the city and for our residents. We will begin repairing old water and sewer lines this year, and over the next few years, we will continue to do that as funds are available. Overall, our budget is estimated at $27,642,865. This includes all funds, personnel, and capital projects we feel necessary. Of this amount, $5,863,566 is contingent on recipient of receiving grant funding. Additionally, projects and spending are carefully evaluated throughout the year as revenues are received. I would like to thank the mayor and all the council members and all the city staff for their suggestions and comments during the budget process. Everyone reviews these numbers over and over again, and it wouldn't be possible to pull this together without everybody's help.
Questions for the treasurer? Okay. Thank you. Is there anybody in the audience present who wishes to provide input regarding the budget for fiscal year 2022? Yes, sir.
You want to talk, right?
Yes. Why don't you come forward? Go ahead and state your name and mailing address.
Corey Nielsen, 175 Topons Drive. Several of the board members and mayor heard of the unhappiness of people not having the boat dock out. I just want to suggest that we might have some money in that budget for next year to fix that dock if it doesn't get fixed this year. So, you know, it's a minor thing, but it's annoying a lot of people. I did Facebook posts and Facebook kept taking it down to let people know that's a meeting. We'll also discuss that. Can I talk about one more thing? It's kind of off the budget. John Kirby deserves more than a $300 gun with his years of service. Evan and I are in the gun business, and $300 isn't going to buy a very nice gun. Consider you guys raising that a little bit. Thank you.
And on a side note, we are pursuing the plan for the boat docks. Thank you, Scott.
Anybody else present who wishes to address the budget? Does the council have questions for anyone regarding the proposed budget? Your Honor, there being no further questions, this hearing is closed.
Thank you. We will have an occasion to visit about this a little further, to talk about the resolution later on, so I'll wait to make a few comments at that point. Thank you, Judy, and thank you to everyone else who's going into preparing this budget. It's a long and difficult task, and I appreciate the work that's going on. We'll go on to our consent agenda item. I'm told that we've got a little bit of a conflict on one of those permit requests, and so I guess we'll just visit about them separately, if that's okay with everybody. Our first one here is a street closure requested by Travis and Jennifer Wilson. Are you, please come up and tell us what you have in mind. Not gonna tear the street up, not gonna reline it, not gonna paint new lines, nothing like that.
Same as last year.
Basically, same as last year, I'm Jennifer.
Well, 66.
Summit Street.
Same as last year, we want to close the street roughly 4 or 5 p.m., which is preferably 4, because some piece set up. And just do a block party, get for all
Big
right.
barbecue.
Barbecue, of course, no alcohol be served. Just whatever fireworks we do, specials, like we did
And
last.
of course, if the fireworks get shut down, we go back up and it will be in the street.
Yeah, we go street.
Yeah, it's awesome to get together with all your neighbors and blow off some steam.
Honestly, that sounds like more fun than fireworks, so.
Well,
Something.
you know?
We talk about our neighbors, so everybody's
Yeah, everybody's
on board.
getting it.
You know, I think it's great. You know, there's some like, well, you're, you know, closing the street down and maybe it's some inconvenience for some, but at the same time, when you have an opportunity to bring some neighborhoods together, I applaud you for what you do, and I think it's great.
We have gotten to know so many more of our neighbors, you know, like the other sides of the block are starting to, you know, it's cool.
Come on over.
We like it.
It's awesome.
Excellent.
Great idea.
Any questions for, is there a motion to approve this street closure?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Welling with the motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Welling with the second. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Good luck.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And a similar street closure permit requested by Mr. Sean Salmon. You want to come? Tell us what you got in mind to do, sir. Similar discussion, I'm assuming.
Yeah, definitely. Sean Saban, 208 Center Street. We just have a big party every year. No alcohol served, but we've got one of my neighbors is sitting right there, and he knows what we do. But it's also my anniversary, so I better throw it out there for my wife.
How many years?
6.
6.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
But yeah, we just, and right where we're at, there's a lot of Utah traffic that goes over to the Armory in that area to watch the city fireworks. And we get a lot of traffic coming through there. You know, we've got kids and everything running around, so we were, just gonna see if we can close that road off and get all our neighbors involved. So we have a good time.
Excellent. Same thing, I think it's great to see people, see neighborhoods doing this kind of stuff.
They put on a spectacular fireworks show on the street.
So they're not troublemakers or anything.
Absolutely not.
See?
It's great.
Come on down and join us.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Any questions, Mr. Saban? Is there a motion to approve this permit request?
I'll make that motion.
Second. Mr. Winslow, second. Any discussion? Discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you. Our next here is a similar request by Eli Robinson.
I don't see, like, this is my neighborhood, I'm gonna abstain from voting, but I'll speak to, we do the same thing, this is about the third or fourth, it would be the fourth year, but the 1 year we didn't have fireworks. We got a perfect shot for the E-Hill, we all like to get together, bring the kids, the grandkids. We've met everybody in the neighborhood now, except for we have one new neighbor, which is on board with us. We have a good time, and throughout the year, we don't fight now. Our neighborhood used to be a little contentious, but it no longer is,
Yay.
because we've got to know everybody. So,
Excellent.
Eli apparently couldn't be here tonight, so I will abstain from voting on this. I'm right in the middle of the block.
Is there a,
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Sellers, motion to approve this? Is there a second? Mr. Ryan, seconding. Any discussion?
These are great ideas.
No further discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed?
And I'll abstain.
Okay, one abstention. Thank you. You know, as long as we're on this subject, I know that fireworks, I know that there are many people in the community who are kind of wondering whether or not we will, as of the dry year, if we'll be able to have fireworks or not. Maybe now's a good time to address that. Quite honestly, I think it's too early to make that call. I think we're hoping for the best. We understand that sometimes things can change and decisions have to be made, and sometimes they're popular, sometimes they're not. I think it's still a little bit hold here on that kind of decision. I don't understand that.
We're not asked to burn down the town.
What's that?
We're not interested in burning down the town.
I don't believe anybody is, and it's thank you. Well, we will go on now to some unfinished business, and we've got there ordinance 2104. Mr. Bolt, please.
This ordinance of the city annexes the real property more particularly described herein is requested in the petition to annex submitted by Casey Hartzell and Jana Hartzell.
Is there anything that's changed in this ordinance or in the wording of this ordinance?
I don't have anything new. Eric, do you have anything new on this?
No, Your Honor,
So, nothing else to say, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, this is the second reading, so I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2104 on the second reading.
Make that motion.
Mr. Lynch with the motion, is there a second? Mr. Robley seconding. Discussion. Discussion. No discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? That is approved on second reading. We'll go on now to new business, and we'll start there with the motion to accept the current low bidder for the street overlay project to Dave Norris Construction. Tell us what we're up against here.
Good evening, Mayor and Honor, or Mayor and Council. Every year we do our overlay bids. Last several years we've increased that budget, which we appreciate. This is well within our budget. We received 5 qualified bids, 2 Wyoming residents, 3 out of state. Consolidated was the apparent low bidder, but with the 5% preference, Dave Norris Construction is the low bidder. So we met with Daryl, Mr. Norris, and talked to him about it, his plan, and make sure that he could do it, have manpower and trucks. That was my biggest concern, that he had the trucks and the capability of doing it. He is subbing out the milling and the chip seal portion of it to other companies under him. He'll focus on the overlay. He's confident that he can get it done. Daryl does a lot of pavement work in town, but this is the first time that he's won. He's never done a project, well, not never, but never with the city. It's been our organization. He's always been subs under other people, so he made the comment, why can I not get the local guy shot? I started to argue that. So we just talked to Gordon, talked to Brad. Like I said, we met with Daryl, talked to him about his game plan. His material supplier's got a truck for him, so that will help make sure that we get the asphalt trucks that we want to be there.
It's good to be able to consider a local name here.
Yeah, it's good to keep as much money local as we can. And just a reminder, this is for Lombard and then County Road, overlay, Yellow Creek, all the kind of the rest of the chips that we help fill out.
Is there a motion on this bid?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Suttle, for the motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
When's this thing start?
We would have to do the agreement July 6th, I believe. So as soon as we get the agreement, I know Daryl's anxious to get going as soon as possible. We also talked about that. He's got to be done before school starts. So make sure so that we don't have bus drivers mad at me. So it's never a fun place to be. So. Yeah.
I just want to echo what Mayor said, because I've worked with Darrell on different things. And he's mentioned several times how difficult it is and figures he can do a good job. So I'm glad we got it. And I hope he does the job he's done.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye, any opposed? Next, we have a motion to authorize the sale of handguns from the retiring police chief for the price of $300.
Mr. Mayor and members of the council, so this is not the first time we've sold a handgun to a retiring law enforcement officer. The handgun that John Kirby currently wants to purchase is currently carrying, has been carrying for a while. This handgun's already slated to be sold, be disposed of, as we are upgrading to optics capable of Glocks. This is not. We did contact a law enforcement distributor for Glock, and they would give us a trade price of $240 and sell it to the officer for $300. We're just simply cutting out the middleman on this and requesting that the city council approve it be sold for $300 to Chief John Kirby.
You know, one comment I'll make quickly on this. The comment was made that Chief Kirby has more than a $300 gun, or is worthy of more than, and I certainly agree with that completely. It's my understanding that we do not, as a city, have the ability to just gift that or convey that to a police officer. This is keeping in the parameters of what the law requires for him to be able to receive this gun and use it as his own. Is that right, Mr. Ball?
That's correct. The city is constitutionally prohibited from making gifts, and we've done this time and time again.
If it were up to us, we would certainly have this coming and much more. So, if this is what the law requires, then that's what we do. And Chief Kirby understands. Is there a motion on the authorization of this?
I'll take that motion.
William, second, is that what you heard?
Yes.
Motion and second, any discussion? No discussion, all fair say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We will go on to resolution 2143, before we get that.
Matter, this resolution of the governing body authorizes the location of a staging area within the Sunset Cabins property for unloading, loading off-road recreational vehicles as part of a Wyoming off-road vehicle recreation trail system.
I believe I said 2141, maybe I misspoke. We're talking about resolution 2143. And I don't think Mr. Zasaro was here tonight, but maybe I'll just speak on this. This is keeping in line with what our SWAT Southwest off-road trail system folks are wanting to help create for our area, the staging area where they can off-road some recreational vehicles and utilize some of the trails, county roads, and different things that allow some ATV and off-road recreational vehicle use that I think would be fun to have as our community and would provide some, hopefully some economic benefit to the community. And him and his group have been working on doing. This also is worthy of knowing that this wouldn't keep us from doing other things as they present themselves in the area where Sunset Cabins are. This is allow them to utilize that area. Any questions on this before we move on?
Have we heard anything from, I know they were meeting with the state to talk about more state access on the road. Have we heard anything more on that?
I think they are still having their public hearings through the Wyoming Department of Tourism. They're working on it. And this kind of started in southwest Wyoming, but it's really blossomed to include the whole state of Wyoming. And the highway department taking that little area from Sunset Cabins to the Painter Road, they're doing that as a pilot program and really trying hard to make sure they get this right so they can apply it throughout the whole state. And it is moving along in the committee, so.
Thank you. That answer your question?
Good, thank you.
Is there any introduction on this resolution?
I'll introduce the motion back.
I'll second that.
Person motion, Mr. Welling second. Is there any discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. That is approved. Resolution 2144, Mr. Wolf, please.
Matter, this resolution of the city authorizes the submission of information and execution of documents to the state of Wyoming, which will enable the city to be eligible to receive funds provided by the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021.
What this resolution does is it gives the mayor authorization to sign the documents for us to send in, which we had to send by today, saying that we wanted to receive the money. It just, they had to have our information, our DUNS number, and different things like that, and his signature saying, with the mark that said yes. From there, they will figure out the formula, and then they'll let us know how much we could receive, and there'll be different webinars and things on what the money can be used for.
Okay. Questions? It's one of those things you hope it's a good thing.
Why turn down money?
Yeah, I guess. That's kind of right. Is there any other action on this resolution?
I'll introduce it.
Mr. Wilson, have a motion? I'll second. Mr. Coffey, second. Any discussion? Discussion?
Trudy, will you let us know when those webinars are, and if we're invited to be part of that? Thank you.
Further discussion? If none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Resolution 2145, Mr. Boyd, read that title for us.
Your Honor, this is the budget resolution. It's the resolution of the City of Evanston providing the income necessary to finance the budget, provide for and authorize annual appropriation of funds for fiscal year 2022.
Thank you, sir.
Do we need to talk again?
I don't want you to miss a chance. Are there any, but we heard your words earlier, we've seen the work that's gone into this. And honestly, this is a big deal. This is perhaps the biggest thing, the biggest issue that the city council and in my position, this is what we face every year. And I've said it, and I'll say it again. So many times I think people think that we sit up here on this stand and we run the city. We do not. It is the city treasurer, it is the city clerk, it is the city attorney, it's the police chief, it's our public works folks, it's our parks and rec. These are the individuals who actually run the city. And the rank and file of the city employees, there's a tremendous amount of work that goes into the creation of this budget. And over the last many years, I have watched this process as I have learned it myself and seen the buy-in from city departments to tighten our belts at times and be very frugal in the expenditure of the resources that we have available to us. Our budgets are tight. We don't have a lot of fluff in them, even though we're, when Judy talked about earlier, some of the figures, they'll sound like they are huge astronomical amounts of money when we're talking about individuals, but as the year unfolds before us, we have to reevaluate. We put something in the budget that we say we might be willing to, or we willing to consider making this expenditure, or whatever it might be, and then we have to reevaluate that as the year goes on to see if those revenues have actually come in and we feel confident in actually making the expenditure. In my simple mind, the way I look at this more than anything is from the beginning of the year, the budget year, to the end of the budget year, have we been able to put a little bit back in reserves? And it looks as if, once again, we are going to be able to do that. And that's something I'm pretty darn proud of. And that's why I want to express that appreciation to the city employees, to Trudy and everybody else, to make sure that as we expend those funds, we are doing it as frugally as we possibly can. As a city, we are trying our best to get the best bang for every dollar expended on behalf of the city, because in my mind, quite honestly, these funds they're sacred. They're all of our funds. It's not just mine, the city council, or whomever. These are our monies as a community, and we as a group, city employees and council all together, I appreciate the efforts that are gone to make sure that we are doing the best thing possible that we can with the money that we have available to us. So I appreciate the hard work amongst everybody. Trudy especially, I know that I received many emails asking questions about this and that, and once in a while I think, I don't know, Trudy, just do it. I don't know, but she does a heck of a job for us, so. Any questions or comments or concerns before we move on with this resolution? It's probably the most important of the year.
I just got one comment.
Please, go ahead.
We just got through, real tough here with COVID-19, 2020 budget, and to finish the year with, surplus is a milestone.
Huge.
Huge, so thanks for all the department heads and your people.
Absolutely. Is there an introduction on this resolution?
I'll introduce the motion to pass.
Mr. Sellers with the motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Welling, second. Any discussion?
Thanks for all your hard work. For a couple months now, we struggling.
Further discussion? If there is none, all in favor of approving resolution 2145, say aye. Any opposed? That's approved. Thank you. Very much. Guess that's it. Comments, remarks from departments. Chief Kirby, I'll give you the podium.
I would just like to thank the city, both the city of Evanston and the leaders that have been here and the coworkers I've had over the years and the community itself. I was 27 when I moved here. And now, about 30 and a half years later, I've worked for the city longer than the age I was when I started here. It's been a great place to work. I know most of you pretty much since I've been in town, or shortly thereafter, and I've worked with most of you in different settings since we all wear multiple hats in this community. And it's been a pleasure, and I'll miss it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from the police department? Anything more?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Lynn?
Well, I can say I'm jealous that, because I've been here probably just a little bit less than he has, and he's leaving.
Always been a part of the city, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. So good luck and wish you the best.
Thank you. Neil?
Is that Mrs. O'Neill?
No.
I expect that
I don't think it was anywhere.
No, it's no, I just want to say thanks to John. I've only been here for a couple of years, but you've been awesome to work with, and you've treated me like an equal, which I appreciate. And congratulations. And then also, thank you to Trudy for your work on the budget. You make it easy for us.
Mr. Barker?
No, thanks, Chief, and thank you for your leadership, your example. You know, coming in, you don't really know what to do as a department head, and you kind of look to guys to see how to act and behave. And appreciate him and giving us all the dad jokes at the staff meetings and things. But yeah, congrats.
My kids wish they could miss it.
I'd like to thank the council for being confident in the EPRD that it will take care of your money and take care of your property.
Could you reiterate that we made some progress on the plans to get the boat right? We've got some good ideas.
We're looking at a metal dock to take care of the trout. So that's been looked up already, and it's probably going to happen here in July. And then also thanks, Chief Kirby, I was lucky enough to speak with him, and I never had to answer the question, what were you doing? It's always been a good conversation with him, and I thank you for that, looking after the neighborhood.
Thank you.
And thanks, Trudy.
You're welcome.
She also, I gave her a global, I'm sorry, her
Ms. Harris?
I just want, excuse me, to say thank you to John. And happy birthday.
Mr. Bowl?
John, as you know, I'm a commissioner, I'm happy for you. One of the things that needs to be talked about was the chief's devotion to employee development. You gotta realize that we have a very young police department, and they are trying to enforce the laws during a particularly turbulent time. And that's a formula from an attorney's point of view that could lead to some sort of disaster. And it hasn't occurred. It hasn't occurred under the chief's watch, and it's because he's pretty devoted to our employee development, and it's paid dividends. And the other thing that needs to be mentioned is the integrity that he brought to the job. And because of that integrity, I never had to worry very much about what was going on with the police department. I worried a little. And we had our moments, but overall, I'm going to miss all of that, and the city is going to miss that too. And hopefully we can continue that level of employee development. Because the police officers are in the line of fire. They are the ones that put themselves between us and harm's way. And we need our best people in those jobs. And we had it in our chief, at least up till now. So,
I agree.
anyway.
I agree. Thank you. Well, I guess we'll have another opportunity, I guess, at the end of this week to express some of those appreciations, but on a very personal note, I guess, in my own life, I spent many years working for our ambulance service here in town, and police officers and EMTs interact quite often. Occasionally we get ourselves in, as EMTs, in some situations that we really don't want to, nor even know how to get in or out of them. And it has always been over the many years that I've worked with Chief Kirby, even long before he was our police chief. I always appreciated and I felt a sense of security, knowing that got a good group of guys that are looking out for me personally. I was trying to be an AMG to keep me out of harm's way, keep me safe. And I appreciate that. I always appreciate that.
Thank you, but we were being selfish. We thought we might need your services.
Well, I've done it. Okay, public participation. Is there anyone here from the public that would like to address the council for any reason? You can tell us your name, sir. Tell us what's on your mind.
I'm Paul Albert. I live 216 Hayden Avenue. I've been in Evanston for almost 30 years. And I've really enjoyed the use of our Sulphur Creek Reservoir. And never ever had to worry about a dock out there on Memorial Day. I mean, it was always up by then. I thought that it was pretty late a lot of years. It could have been earlier, but this year it wasn't there. And there's got to be something we can do about that.
Yes, sir. It sounds as if we're trying to look into options to as I understand it, the concern is simply with low water and potential damage to some very expensive docks. And I think our Parks and Rec folks are working on solutions to that issue. Appreciate. Nobody doesn't want people to be able to enjoy Sulphur Reservoir. Nobody wants to hinder that activity and that recreation. our recreational opportunities are pretty important to us. And I think everybody involved wants to see those things happen for everyone. So I appreciate the willingness to try to safeguard the city equipment, city resources, but I think it sounds like they're working on it. So hopefully you'll see a resolution fairly soon, sir.
Okay, I would just ask that in the future, we could get the dock put up a little closer to ice out than midsummer. And if there's something else we can do, I'd sure appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else that would like to address the council?
Councilor Bellis. Wilson, 175 for Quans. We've already talked about this, but I'm pretty sure in the 25 years I've lived here, I've never had the dock not put out there. I understand there was some damage. My question is there a way to put the straight part of the dock out to the potential new ones get here? Because that way these people can still use the reservoir and make the tea. Because the way I understand it, the tea is damaged somehow. Is that correct? Tea part? So I just ask consideration to put that out until potential new dock gets here in July. Possibly look at that. So.
I guess the best way I know how to answer that question is that once again, we're confident in our Parks and Rec folks that are looking into options. The operations of the Sulphur Creek Reservoir are under the jurisdiction of the Parks and Rec district and their board. Mr. Vincent's on the board, Mr. Peters here in the room. They're aware of the concerns. So we as a city council, I guess, have conveyed that management operations to them, and we'll just, they will take your concerns under consideration and do the best that they can. Is about all I can say right now.
One more thing.
Sure.
I worked for a clock law enforcement distributor, and last time there was miscommunication. They bought the clocks out of Arizona instead of from me because they didn't realize it was me. I can get the clocks from the police department, do the trade-ins, everything, and I wouldn't get rich off the deal, but I'd make enough to make my lunch. So I consider possibly.
We'll take that into consideration.
Okay.
Appreciate
We
it.
sell lots of law enforcement logs. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And rest assured, we are moving forward on getting the docks up and running.
I just think we can put the plastic grass on there.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I just want to say I had the honor of interviewing John for the story of Fridays paper about his retirement. I think we have to go everybody because this crisis is probably starting to use it. Thanks, John.
Anyone else? Don't want to cut anybody off. Something to say, no listening.
We've got cleaning, so.
If there's nothing else, we'll adjourn. Just